Hello, welcome back. Actually, did try to ensure that I do this recording under one video, but I was not able to achieve that because I could only record for 15 minutes at a time. So I'm going to continue from where I stopped, which is slide number 19, talking about strategies for vulnerability mitigation. The strategies adopted for my vulnerability mitigation involves the following. One, identifying the vulnerabilities in the system through a NICTO scan. Two, implementing the required security control, such as upgrading to the latest version of OS, timely installation of updates and patches, implementation of various system hardening techniques. Number three, deployment of endpoint security defenses such as antivirus and anti-malware. Number four, ensure timely patch management. And number five, continuous network monitoring through the deployment of IDS. The next slide. And the next slide is talking about how my strategies have reduced the risk. It's It has reduced the risk by ensuring that all threats and vulnerabilities in my system were properly identified. It ensures that all the it ensures an understanding and visibility into the available security flaws. It also ensures that to make mitigation planning much easier. It enables me to identify the required system hardening configuration to be implemented, and it ensures that all the appropriate mitigation efforts are deployed. Next slide, which is part D, which is the Nexus scan after my mitigation has been done. And this picture shows a summary of the vulnerabilities that existed after my mitigation. The next slide showed a detailed vulnerabilities that are available. So I'm going to part E now, which is talking about the reasons I made the changes that I made. And the first reason is based on criticality of the vulnerability. I decided to choose the most critical ones to mitigate first because it's not possible to mitigate everything at the same time. So I started from the most critical one, and at the same time, I also looked at the cost effectiveness because the cost of fixing these vulnerabilities also is an important factor. I also chose the changes I made because I realized that one of such changes would fix a number of vulnerabilities. Just by making one changes, that changes will fix, I think, about three different vulnerabilities. So I decided to pick that one so that I could fix as much as possible. Then my expected result differs from my actual results in one major way because I expected that my critical vulnerability would disappear after mitigation. Before mitigation, I had three high vulnerabilities. I didn't have any critical. So after mitigation, I expected those high vulnerabilities which I had to disappear. But after a scan, after the mitigation, although those high disappeared, but one critical reappeared in my new scan. So that means why those high vulnerabilities disappeared, another critical one appeared in my new scan. So that's one way it differs. So the lessons learned from hardening my system include it's made me realize that it's time consuming and a very complex task. It made me realize that it also requires full concentration and being thorough. And also that hardening measures alone cannot be effective in securing all the vulnerabilities. You have to combine hardening with other tools and techniques to achieve a better result. Then the last slide is the slide of our reference. Thank you so much for listening.